Ahead on DC News Now at 4.
You need to prepare for catastrophic impacts.
Tornadoes hitting Florida as the state braces for Hurricane Milton's arrival, set to make landfall in hours.
Everybody's worried about the same thing, you know. Do you have a home to come back to, or, you know, that nature?
Another surge of colder air is on its way for the end of the week. We'll let you know how far these temperatures could tumble.
Plus, pushback on a plan to build a holding cell in a D.C. neighborhood, while the location is raising eyebrows. Also, doors knocked down for social media fame. The warning about a new TikTok challenge happening in our area. And Virginia accused of removing some people from voter rolls illegally. How the state is firing back.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
And thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 4. I'm Mark Hall.
And I'm Marielle Carbone in for Annalisa Gale today. While we have sunny skies here in our forecast, we know in Florida it is a much different story right now. Take a look. This is a live look right now at Anna Maria Island. That is on Florida's Gulf Coast. You can see there just the choppy waves, obviously the wind shaking that camera there as the storm moves closer. It's likely just hours away from making landfall.
And Marielle, severe weather creating tornadoes in several parts of the state, including in South Florida. These videos were taken near I-75 in Broward County and in Clewiston, which is about 80 miles north of Fort Lauderdale. National Weather Service says that more than 12 million people across Florida are facing the threat of tornadoes along with hail and strong winds. All right, let's head over to meteorologist Damon Matson with the first look at our forecast.
Yeah, and Damon, like we said, we aren't seeing those impacts from the storm here, but certainly difficult to watch those storms heading towards Florida right now.
Yeah, right now this is just a bad situation in Florida with Milton not even making landfall yet, but the impacts, you just saw all of that video there. They're already happening. And here it is on radar. We're able to see Milton now as it gets much closer to landfall, which is expected to happen later on tonight, going just into the early morning hours on Thursday. But look at these outer bands, so intense, coming across the state of Florida, bringing that torrential rainfall with these dark reds popping up continuously. And at any one point throughout this afternoon, we've had as many as 10 to 11 active tornado warnings crossing the state here. And you just saw that video, confirmed large tornadoes. That does not happen very often at all along the Florida peninsula, but with this strong hurricane, it's happening. So the severe weather, the torrential rain is already ongoing. As we go later on into the night, the conditions down there will continue to deteriorate with that storm surge and some of the strongest winds coming with the core of this storm, which on satellite, you cannot see the eye any longer, but the center of this powerful hurricane is quickly approaching the shoreline there just south of the Tampa Bay area. So we are going to continue to monitor Milton as it makes landfall going into the night tonight. Now again, back here closer to home, thankfully enough, we have quiet conditions. It's been another sunny, comfortable day with some breezy winds out there at times. But as we head into the night tonight, those winds will calm down once again. And with a clear sky in place, we're about to see some of our chilliest conditions in quite some time, even topping what we've had the last couple of nights. So we'll talk more about those cold temperatures, and we'll give you more updates on Milton as it makes its way into Florida. That's coming up in your full forecast in just a bit.
All right, Damon, thank you. With the hurricane hours from making landfall, officials say time is running out for people to evacuate, and the odds of staying in an evacuation zone and surviving are slim. Shelters are filling up as millions are ordered to leave their homes. Most major airports are shut down because of the storm.
And there are several local crews actually heading south, including search and rescue teams from Maryland's Task Force 1. Now, right now, there is still a big need where Hurricane Helene hit. Hurricane Milton is expected to be worse than Helene, but emergency crews say they are ready.
Confident in the training that they received, and they're ready to go take care of whatever need there is, regardless of the size and complex of the incident.
And we're going to continue to track Hurricane Milton's path throughout our newscast.
Yeah, coming up in just a few minutes, we're talking to a reporter that is live in that Tampa area as the storm heads that way. Well, new at 4, firefighters, they have a 2-alarm house fire under control. It happened on Valley Lane, that's in Falls Church. Everyone that was inside was able to get out. No injuries reported there, and what caused that fire remains under investigation.
Well, continuing controversy in Northwest D.C. as people in Mount Vernon Triangle try to block the district from putting a temporary central cell block in their neighborhood. DC News Now's Daniel Hamburg is live along New York Avenue at 5th Street. Daniel, what are people worried about?
Well, Mark, the biggest concern is traffic. There are also safety and noise concerns. Take a look right here. These signs being put up in the area, no jail at 501 New York Avenue. Now, let's be clear. The building right behind here is not going to be a jail. This would be a temporary holding facility for people arrested for up to 24 hours before their first appearance in D.C. Superior Court. Now, the reason the district says they need to do this is because the current central cell block at the Daly building is in need of major repairs, and this building is the closest location to D.C. Superior Court. The building already has 19 holding cells, and the Department of Corrections wants to add 21 more. That's up to 80 more people who could be held there. The district needs the D.C. Board of Zoning Adjustment to issue a special exception for renovations, but ANC 2G Chair Rochelle Nigro and others are pushing back, arguing their neighborhood doesn't have the capacity for potential traffic for 4 years.
Whether it be the in and out of the detainees, all the employees, the vendors, it is going to be a 24/7 operation, and literally there is not enough room for all of the vehicles.
And so, responding to concerns of neighbors in this area, the director of the Department of Corrections said nobody would be released from this building, that only people would be released from D.C. Superior Court. We also know that there will be soundproofing added to the building to alleviate some of those noise concerns. The hearing is still going on and could be going on for another 2 hours. We'll keep you updated with the latest. We're live in Northwest. Daniel Hamburg, D.C. News Now.
Daniel, thank you. Well, new at 4, we are learning when D.C. Councilmember Trayon White could go to trial. The federal government pushing for a July trial date. The government is also requesting a special jury because of how much publicity this case has gotten. Now, White, who represents Ward 8, pleaded not guilty to bribery charges. He's accused of accepting money in exchange for pressuring government employees to renew contracts for various public safety programs.
An arrest has been made 6 months after a deadly shooting in Oxon Hill, Maryland. 19-year-old Trayon Avent was killed back in April on Neptune Avenue and Audrey Lane. Prince George's County police say that Javon Moore of D.C. is charged with his murder. Police say the suspect and the victim knew each other.
And a Maryland man is charged with murdering a man and injuring 2 others in Mount Rainier. Now, the shooting had happened last month on Rhode Island Avenue. Prince George's County police say Louis Gregory shot 2 men and a woman during a dispute. Now, one of the men, Frayer Yanez Salas, was found dead in a car. Gregory is being held without bond.
A new DC News Now. DC News Now is your local election headquarters. A new poll on the Maryland Senate race shows the Democrat Angela Alsobrooks leading Republican Larry Hogan by 9 points. Alsobrooks is backed by 48% of likely voters, while Hogan has support from 39% of voters. The former governor is viewed slightly more favorable than the Prince George's County executive, but more voters hold an unfavorable view of Hogan than Alsobrooks. The poll was conducted by the University of Maryland in Baltimore and has a margin of error of 3.3%.
A new lawsuit accuses Virginia of illegally removing eligible voters from the voter rolls. That is just weeks before the election. Now, the lawsuit, it stems from an executive order Governor Glenn Youngkin signed back in August. It directs the Department of Elections to remove voters who are unable to verify that they are U.S. citizens based on data from the DMV. Governor Youngkin says his order is meant to protect the election, but the lawsuit says DMV data is often inaccurate or even outdated, and that the order violates a federal law which prevents states from removing people from voter rolls within 90 days of an election.
We have a bad history in this country of engaging in shenanigans right before elections. That's one of the reasons why there's very specific reasons why you can purge people within 90 days, but there are other reasons that you can't purge them within 90 days, and you can't do it with a generalized program, and that's what we're seeing. At least that's what's been alleged we're seeing out of Governor Youngkin's administration.
In a statement, a spokesperson for Virginia Attorney General Jason Miera says they feel confident in the position that the Department of Elections has taken and that they stand ready to defend it in court.
100 new trees are being planted at public schools in Arlington. It's thanks to a grant program that works to add or maintain tree coverage and clean water throughout Virginia. The trees will be planted this fall.